Something happened here in Israel yesterday that cuts right through all the noise, past the UN votes, past the White House meetings, past the headlines coming out of Lebanon. In the middle of a week filled with diplomatic handshakes and international posturing, a tragic event unfolded on the ground, reminding us exactly what this battle is really about. Before we dive into everything happening across the region, we need to stop and talk about what took place, because it reveals something far deeper, far more urgent, and far more defining for the people of Israel today. There is so much going on in Israel and the Middle East right now, from United Nations votes to give the Palestinians a state, to Trump's meeting in the White House with the Saudi Crown Prince promising to give them F-35s, to the IDF bombing the heck out of a Hamas compound in southern Lebanon. There's a lot we could dive into. But before we get into any of that, I do want to talk about something that happened yesterday because it is so important. So tragically, there was yet another devastating terror attack in Israel yesterday. 2 Palestinian Arabs rammed their vehicle into civilians standing at the junction in Gush Etzion before one of them got out and then began stabbing people. 1 person was killed and 3 others were injured. Both terrorists were neutralized on the spot by security forces, and they were both identified as 18 years old. After the attack, the IDF apparently found several explosives inside the car as well. The man who was murdered was a 71-year-old man who lived in Kiryat Arba, and I'll tell you what his crime was. He was murdered because he was a Jew who dared to hallow God's name by living in the land that was promised to Abraham and his descendants forever. Ezekiel 36 talks about this very thing. It says, "When the house of Israel lived in their own land, they defiled it by their ways and their deeds. I scattered them among the nations, and they were dispersed through the countries. In accordance with their ways and their deeds, I judged them. But when they came to the nations, wherever they came, they profaned my holy name, and that people said of them, 'These are the people of the Lord,' and yet they had to go out of his land. But I had concern for my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the nations to which they came." When the people of Israel are outside of the land, God's name is profaned, which means when the people of Israel returned home to their God-given possession, God's name was hallowed. The 71-year-old man was fulfilling that promise by living here in the land of Israel, and then he was murdered by a Palestinian Arab because the international community will not condemn these people and is in fact empowering them by trying their best to give them a terrorist state of their own. Just to give a little more of a sense of what we're dealing with, here's the father of one of the terrorists who was neutralized saying that the thing he looked forward to the most in life was being the father of a martyr.
والحمد لله يعني إشي بيرفع الراس يعني وهو زي أطفال غزة وزي شباب غزة وزي أهل غزة مش رايح يكون أفضل منه. هذا شهيد من الشهداء والحمد لله رب العالمين. يعني أكثر إشي كنت أنا أتوقعه في حياتي إن أكون أنا أبو شهيد. الحمد لله والحمد لله رب الحمد لله.
And these are the people that half of the world is trying to give a state to right now. We'll be back with the rest of the show in just 1 second, but first, bringing you accurate information about what's happening in Israel and the Middle East like we do in these videos. It isn't easy or cheap, and we'd like to ask you, if you find value in this channel and the information we're bringing to the world every week, please consider joining our team and producing these videos by supporting us monthly. We don't have any paid advertisers, we're not backed by any big media networks. Everything we create is made possible by people like you who believe in standing with Israel and sharing the truth. Your support helps us keep telling the stories that matter and giving a clear, honest voice to what's actually happening here in Israel. If you're able to join us, we have a special access Telegram group with behind-the-scenes content, updates on our volunteer work here in Israel, special store discounts, prayer requests, a monthly live stream with some of our team, and much, much more. If you'd like to join us, you can go to theisraelguys.com/donate or click the link in the description below. The IDF just carried out a pretty massive strike in southern Lebanon. They targeted a Hamas training compound near the coastal city of Sidon, and they eliminated 13 terrorists in the strike. According to the IDF, the military compound was used by Hamas operatives for training, quote, in order to plan and carry out terrorist attacks against IDF troops in the state of Israel. They added that, quote, the IDF is operating against Hamas's entrenchment in Lebanon and will continue to operate against Hamas terrorists wherever they operate. Hamas denied that they had a training camp there, and they blamed Israel, of course, for the, quote, brutal assault and, I quote, claims that the targeted location was a training compound affiliated with the movement are pure fabrications and lies. There are no military installations in the Palestinian camps in Lebanon. Of course, we're gonna believe the word of a terrorist, right? In some other news, President Trump welcomed the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, to the White House. He gave him a tour of the White House. He had to show the official portrait of the auto pen, of course. Elon Musk was also spotted at the dinner later on, which is very interesting. We won't get into all the details, but it looks like the US is going to be selling F-35s to Saudi Arabia. Not sure how many yet at this point. Trump didn't say that this was on condition that Saudi Arabia would normalize ties with Israel, but I think it will definitely raise the chances of that happening. Also, Trump made the announcement that the US was formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally.
Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that we're taking our military cooperation to even greater heights by formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally, which is something that is very important to them. And I'm just telling you now for the first time because I wanted to keep a little secret for tonight. I just heard him say, oh, that's nice. That's another point you won today. And signing a historic strategic defense agreement, which we just signed a little while ago. So congratulations. It's out there.
Guys, stay tuned to the channel here as these developments in the Middle East unfold. We'll definitely keep you posted, so make sure and get subscribed. That's it for today, guys. Remember, if you'd like to join our monthly donor team, you can do that at theisraelguys.com/donate or click the link in the description below. Also, don't forget about our film about Iran and Operation Rising Lion. It's dropping this Sunday, November 23rd, right here on the Israel Guys channel. You definitely don't want to miss that, so stay tuned. As always, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.